And welcome on back here to Up North at 4. Mike Olkowski joining us now. We have the InSayner race coming up this weekend. And I just feel like I need to ask right off the top, what makes the InSayner race so insane, as you guys call it, right?
Well, it's challenging. Last year when we started the event, we had a vision of adding a longer race. And this being the second year of the event, we have added that race. We have a 54-mile long race.
54 mile.
That's correct, and it's not going to be easy.
All right, Mike, you're a member of LAMBO, which is what?
It's the Lakeland Area Mountain Bike Organization.
Okay, so you're often riding these trails, and there are lots of trails in the area, correct?
There are. We have trails at the Raven Trail. We have the Zip Trails on the south side of Minocqua. It's not a LAMBO trail, but there's the Windman system in Manitowish Waters. There's the New Fern Ridge system being built in St. Germain. Those are not affiliated with LAMBO, but we use them. We've helped with them in some regard at one point or another. And this race is a primary fundraiser for a new system that LAMBO is developing starting this fall, hopefully, called the Muskie Mountain Bike Trails.
Okay. Which is part of what's behind us here.
Exactly.
And this trail is a bit special because there's lots of elevation rise to it, correct?
A lot of elevation. I think it's going to rival pretty much anything in at least the northern half of the state. I would think maybe Rib Mountain and maybe the Driftless area will have some trails that will rival what we're going to have for elevation here.
Neat.
And so this is sort of like the next step then for LAMBO is to kind of make Muskie Mountain, these trails here, the focal point, I guess, of the InSayner race, right? Is that sort of part of the plan here?
Correct. What we're doing here is we're incorporating Muskie Mountain, the undeveloped. It has not been started yet as far as trail construction goes, but we've incorporated, racers will climb to the peak of this and come down one of the old ski hill runs as part of this race.
So cool.
And as we get this race, or as we get this trail system built more and it gets constructed to the point, we'll try and incorporate more of the trails into the race as it gets there.
Yeah, so Mike, who is mountain biking for? Could Nate and I tackle this trail today and be just fine, or is there a build up to certain levels of how these trails are?
There is a build up to certain levels. We offer a short 24-mile race, which is not easy in its own right.
So you say short like that's easy, and it's still 24 miles.
I'd be like, water. I need water.
Well, you might still have enough blood left from the mosquitoes if you just do the short race.
Yeah. For the planning, just in getting the race trail sort of set up, what goes into that, making sure we have a lot of elevation, make it challenging but maybe not too challenging so nobody's like, I don't want to do this anymore, right?
Well, I think the long race participants will be glad to hear that we looked at ways to make the race more challenging. We didn't look at making it easy.
Go big or go home, Nate.
Go big or go home, exactly.
My bad.
If there was a big climb, it got included in the course as best we could.
Throw some waterfalls in there, a bunch of boulders, and you're good to go.
Well, you're close. There's a stream crossing somewhere in there.
Okay, so we're not far off with the waterfall, and also I noticed you guys incorporated the mosquitoes literally into the logo.
That is
which
exactly
is smart
correct.
Because I'm getting eaten alive here right now. Is that just part of it too? You just got to deal with whatever.
We called it the Wisconsin Training Incentive.
Okay.
Bugs. You got to get ahead of them.
So you have no blood left.
Yeah.
The good news is we haven't seen any deer flies yet. That's the important thing. The mosquitoes.
It's still early June.
So
knock on wood here.
Knock on wood. That's right.
So Mike, this race coming up this weekend, what can maybe people expect, even if they're not going to be racing? Maybe 55 miles is a little too long for them to handle. But what could people expect for the InSayner this weekend?
Well, the participants can expect, it looks like the long range forecast is pretty good. At least it's cooler temperatures, which for the long race would be huge.
Yes.
I mean, that would be huge for the long racers, in my opinion. If they can have temperatures in the 60s or 70s, that'll help a lot. Hot, humid, I think would just add another whole element to this race.
Right.
But that's something they have to plan for.
So if Jeff and I aren't going to be the ones biking, per se, this weekend, could we at least still come by and check it out if we wanted to? Is it
Absolutely.
open to visitor spectators?
The Plum Lake Town Hall is going to be the base of operations right by the park in downtown Sayner.
Okay.
Which happens to be the race name, the InSayner.
Makes
so
sense.
It's easy to find. So, I mean, the race will roll at 10 o'clock sharp. Long race and short race are going together this time. Registration from 8 to 9:30. We are offering race day registration. If somebody wants to come out and see what it's all about. The short course, very well marked. We'll have lots of volunteers on the short course. They can come and sign up from 8 to 9:30. All the proceeds, I bet you better than 90% of the money we raise from this race will end up in trails on this mountain.
Oh, nice.
We're pretty efficient with how we get things done.
Perfect.
So the long race, they can still sign up for the long race if they wish as well.
If you so dare.
If you dare. You better be prepared for that one. That's not a cakewalk. And I expect that most of the people that do that are going to be quite fit.
I don't
Not
even
us
know.
yet.
I was gonna say I don't even know if the short course is good for
20
you
miles
and I.
we could do. 50 is probably a stretch.
Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit. So I think it's only best if we actually get on these
Let's get
bikes
on the
here
trails.
and just see if we're ready for it. Are you ready for that, Mike?
I'm ready.
All right, we'll do that. We'll be right back here on Up North at 4.